Boys and girls, this may be an interesting ride for Stirring the Pot this evening because I've never met our special guest. I've seen, I've stalked his face page a little bit. I mean, I followed his face page a little bit, and we're learning. We're all going to learn together. For those who don't know, we're going to learn. For those who do know, you're going to learn a little bit more. This is Stirring the Pot with Don Kincaid and my very special guest, Arthur McArthur. How are you, sir?
Al, how you doing, old sport? I'm feeling great. How about you?
Oh, we are at the beginning, working our way towards the end of the work week, but it's at the beginning. And we, on this fine Tuesday evening, have one Arthur McArthur, and I've been looking forward to this one, sir. You seem to be an interesting character. Started looking at some of this stuff, seeing some of even now actively. You're working through the pandemic, doing some stuff,
Yes.
which I applaud you, men and women, for pushing through, persevering, and doing your thing through such a crazy time. So first off, thank you so much for even answering my message because you never know who's just going to say, "Buzz off, jackass." So thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Of course, of course.
Do you do many interviews? Is this something that you kind of do regularly, or?
Um, every like once in a month I'll do a little podcast or interview. This is not
Okay.
on YouTube, so
Now, how we connected, somebody tagged you in a post. I believe you said something about trying to get out there on the podcasts, and
Yes.
somebody tagged my name into your post, and that's how we've kind of come together. And that's what we love about the wrestling community, my friend. The network, the friendship, the brotherhood, the sisterhood, all of that good stuff. And it brings us all together. We meet new friends, new talent, hear about new promotions. So let's just dive right into this, please.
All righty.
We pull back the curtain a little bit. We may throw the gimmick or the character to the side if you wish. Obviously, you're very relaxed this evening, so
There.
we may be pulling the curtain back a bit. Mr. Arthur McArthur, I have to start right off with your name. Where does this derive from, if you will, sir?
Oh well. First off, I'd like to thank my father and my mother for giving me such a name. Very, very excellent choice, if I say so myself. I think when they gave birth to me and wanted to name me, I think they were inspired by such strong men of that era. Think of a good Arthur Saxon, for example, or a long outlaw cowboy named what was his name? Arthur Morgan. Yes, a very popular legend in the Wild West, and that's kind of how I was given the name Arthur, and then McArthur. I get confused for a bunch of other Arthur McArthurs. You Google Arthur McArthur, you'll find a musical producer, a general, and I try to be as unique as I can.
I ran into that myself, just because I never research anything. I'll just be totally transparent, sir. I
Mm-hmm.
never research anything. I don't write nothing down. There's no formula. We just kind of go off the cuff and have a lot of fun. Sometimes it's dangerous, but that's okay. I don't mind that. So I did Google your name, and curious you do mention that because there was some different stuff. I'm like, wait, that's not him. Wait, who's that? Wait, that's not him. Wait, who's that? Oh no. But in the wrestling community, my friend, you do stand out, and I love the old time feel, that old spirit, the way you speak, the way you present yourself, and all of that you're bringing to the table as a character. Now, some men and women, they say that this isn't a character. This is just me amplified for wrestling. Is this a character that started from scratch, or is this your actual persona just juiced up a little bit for wrestling, if you will?
Well, I can't say that I'm always lifting weights, nonstop. I do have a real life to take care of course. But I guess you could say that my wrestling persona is me amplified to the max, the strongest man in all the land. And, obviously I'm not so vibrant everywhere I go, but when it comes time to it, to entertain the masses, I'm always here and always ready to showcase what I'm able to do.
Uh, I have noticed that on some of the footage that I've kind of come across of one Mr. Arthur McArthur. Um, I'd like to talk about an opponent. If I'm not mistaken, uh, have you already wrestled or have an upcoming match with one Thunder Kitty?
Thunder Kitty, yes, yes. We had previously wrestled at Flophouse, a weekend at Schwartz's was the name of the show. First intergender match of my own. Was a
Oh,
real treat. You know, she is also enamored in the old school lifestyle. It was a great clash of personalities. I would do it again.
uh, can you tell us who got the W in that combat, if you will?
Well, I would say go on IWTV and watch it, but I won it.
But please go on the IWTV and look up Flophouse Wrestling. I was poking around. I've never heard of Flophouse until I started messing around and looking for some Arthur McArthur info, if you will. So I have run into a couple new promotions just looking yourself up. Yeah, Flophouse Wrestling. Go look them up. They're right on the face page. You can follow their stuff right there. Um, Now, Mr. Arthur McArthur, uh, you said that was your very first intergender match.
Yeah.
Were you comfortable walking into this? Because not all male performers are very comfortable walking into that intergender portion of the program, if you will. You were comfortable walking into that?
I treat it like it was any other match. If you ask me, you know, if you look at someone as below you or above you, or have to change your strategy, you've already messed up. The way I saw it, Thunder Kitty was just another opponent. Well, a great opponent, if I should say, but nothing out of the ordinary where I had to completely change my style. There's no need. You know, I really wish people would get out of this old dated mindset that men and women can't compete at the same level. I mean, obviously there are some limitations, but in wrestling, we're all equal.
We have seen the women's division explode over the past, probably the course of the last 5 years, even a little bit better or so. Because it used to be way different with the bras and panties and all of that stuff. And then then they produced a butterfly championship and called it the Divas Championship. Still wasn't really on board. But when they did the women's evolution, and that division has really exploded. Myself as a fan, am loving what we're seeing from the women. They're main eventing stuff right now. I mean, doing some fine main eventing and whatnot. Doing the first ever Hell in a Cell and all of these Money in the Banks and stuff.
Yes.
But Mr. McArthur, where have you trained? Because you're very strong, and obviously you have to have a good trainer to get that base going. Please tell us when you started and where you were trained, if you may, sir.
Oh, let's see. I started training at the Absolute Intense Wrestling Academy in Cleveland, Ohio, May of, what was it, 2018? Yes, 2018, under the tutelage of Dominic Guarini, MLW star, you may have seen him with his other half, Kevin Koo, in Violence is Forever.
Wow, fine talent. Now, you've persevered and it's been a couple years now. So if you started in 18, you've been in it for about 3 years or so. In your short tenure, you seem to have this character. If you're not all in, you can tell. The fans can tell, if you will. So what your persona, if you will, when you come through the curtain, you're 100% in, baby. And you can tell when you come through that curtain, you're all about the strong man, the old school, the old spirit, the way you speak and such. But there's also, and I'm not taking away from one Mr. Arthur McArthur, but there's another guy that I've spoken to, and there's a couple fans that were kind of curious. We thought that yourself and one Mr. Theodore Liftington would be a fine battle. But if I'm not mistaken, is there some kind of history with yourself and Mr. Liftington?
I can't say that there is. You know, I remember when I first, embarked in the wrestling, someone had actually mentioned of a Mr. Liftington, and I thought, oh, that's great. It's good to have another similar strong man type of man out there. And then I found him on Facebook. I think I may have liked one of his posts or something, and then he saw me, and then we just kind of both were mutual friends on Facebook, and we've always teased about battling here and there. I know he's all the way out where you are in New England. I'm where are you exactly? Connecticut?
I'm in Connecticut, and if I'm not mistaken, you're like Indiana. Is that correct?
I'm in Cleveland, actually, Cleveland,
Oh,
Ohio.
okay.
Yes, I wrestle in Indiana a lot, especially with quarantine, pandemic shutting things down here for the most part. But yes, yeah, he's I believe he's from Rhode Island. It's quite the haul from here. I would love to wrestle in New England sometime. I had been told about Providence Party Wrestling. I forget the name of it.
Wrestle Party.
Wrestle Party. That's it.
New England, my friend, and not to take anything away from the rest of the country, but New England, we have some quite the flourishing amount of talent out here. And if you were to ever make your way, please, please, oh please, Mr. McArthur, give me a little message and say, I'm heading to the Northeast. Make sure you come and check out the performance because I will be there, my friend. I would love to meet one Mr. McArthur in person. That would be a fine night. I have to admit. Please, I would appreciate that.
I definitely keep that in mind for sure.
Yeah. Now, the reason why I bring up Mr. Liftington because you guys have that similar persona, and man, Mr. Liftington, the way he speaks and presents himself. Whenever I ran into you, I go, wait a minute. Wow, this is crazy. I've never known of like an old-timey strongman, and here we are. We ran into another one. And this persona, though, when you first started, is this the very first persona you've started with, or did you start with a different name? Because we've seen Kane. He started as a Christmas tree. Kane started as a Christmas tree. I'm sorry, I get carried away. But yeah, this has been your name the whole way through here, Arthur McArthur?
I haven't changed since day one.
Okay.
Yeah, I've had different outfits, of course, but I've always stayed the course as myself.
Now, do you have a protege? Do you have a valet? Is there a manager behind you? Is there any personality around one Mr. McArthur?
As of right now, no. I used to have a tag team partner, but that's on hiatus for right now. But anyways, now there's no valets, no managers. I think I can handle myself. I can manage myself. Not that I'm not against having one. It's just I don't see a need right now because got plenty of mouths to feed myself.
That's for sure. Now, you seem to be you speak very well. You bring that character out on the regular. You don't have any problems doing promos because some of the talent, when they start going, they have to find their niche to do promos. You seem very comfortable speaking and doing something like that. I would imagine, yes?
Oh yes, I think making a promo for any show I do is one of the most fun parts about it. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I could probably do one in one take without even preparing. It's just something it just came naturally to me, Obviously, they're not always perfect, but I do believe, given the mic at what am I thinking? At the last second, I could definitely spew some good words for everyone. Yeah, it's very fun.
Now, engaging with the fans, was that something you were able to do right off from the beginning of your career? Because I asked this question on the normal because I like to to pick the brain of the talent that we speak with, and I find that it takes quite a bit to engage with us and hear us and read the room, if you will, and adapt. Did you find your niche right away, or did it take a little bit? And I know you're only 3 years deep.
Yeah, that was a little tricky at first. Everyone wants to just do things, but they never really engage with the crowd. They don't read the crowd. They don't feel the room, like you said. And they just want to do the moves. And to me, it started off with just one thing: doing squats or curls and having the crowd count with me to know that they're behind me. Yes, I get them going every single time.
That sounds fun already, and I'm just envisioning it. See, those are the little things, though, sir.
Yeah.
Those are the little pieces of the puzzle that brings everything together. So you're the talent and the fans get that involvement and get that engagement going. And I applaud you just by you speaking about those little things. I definitely applaud you as a fan. Thank you so much for that.
Hey, that's what I do.
Uh, now, the way you speak and the old timey singlet and you have the big old barbell and stuff.
Yeah.
Why bring this to the table as a persona? Why not something else? Why not something flashy? Why not,
I had dabbled in different personas, different styles of wrestling, and it just did not come naturally to me. And even my trainer said so himself. He said, "You're not going to be this AJ Styles fellow. You're not going to be, Rey Mysterio, for example. You just have to be. He gave me an example of who to look at, who to watch, who to replicate, and just make it my own. And I believe I melded it perfectly with myself.
So speak. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
That was it.
Speak to us, the fans, if you could, sir, because this isn't my show. And I know I say this every single time, but the more talent I meet and make new friends, I just want to reiterate that this isn't my show. This is our show, the fans. So we all get to meet the new talent and such. But could you talk to us about your move set and who you've taken from to get your move set together, and what kind of wrestler do you classify yourself as?
Alrighty. As far as my move set goes, I've taken a lot of inspiration from that old Cesaro. As some of you know, Claudio Castagnelli. I can't say his last name to save my life, but everyone knows Cesaro. I've taken a couple of his maneuvers. If I'm being honest, I've looked at guys like Mark Henry, see how they move around, how slow, methodical. But as far as like entertaining, I just look at some of the old. How do I put this? Guys like The Rock, for example, just really engaged and in the moment, looking, eyes wide open, really getting the people behind him. We also have comedic guys such as Colt Cabana. I'm sure you all love him over there. Colt Cabana, Kikutaro, a really funny chap from Japan. I guess I wouldn't necessarily just consider myself a full-on comedy wrestler because I mean, I have some abilities. I'm not saying comedy wrestling is, lacking of skills, but I think I'm more than that.
Right.
I guess you could call me a little bit of a hoss, but I'm not really that large. There's some guys who are like 300 pounds. I'm only about 220.
Oh, okay. Now bringing that to the table, are you more of like a strong, kind of strong style? Are you more of a brawler, or what do you produce? What would you call yourself as a wrestler?
Oh, well, I could sure brawl. I know I could dabble a little bit in the technical side, but overall, I guess you could call me a powerhouse. I love to slam
Okay.
folks, pick them up, do incredible feats of strength.
Mm. I can imagine through your matches, you're performing these feats of strength, if you will, and engaging us with what you have going on. Could you give us an example? Because I know nothing of Mr. Arthur McArthur. Is there any way you could give us maybe an example of one of these feats of strength as you're performing a match?
Let's see. When I was in a tag team match, or if I'm in a multi-man match, for example, I've had a time where I was doing the old airplane spin around with a guy on my back, just getting everyone excited, hyped. Then someone comes to crossbody me as if I had no base. Well, I caught that man. I had two men on me, and at the same time, I Samoan drop and what's that? You throw them over your head. I don't remember at the top of my head.
Slam.
Yes,
Slam.
away slam at the same time. That's just one example.
Wow.
Yes, and I had just recently did a suplex to someone who was on the apron, and I was on the inside corner, and I brought him back in that way. Yes.
Oh, the deadlift suplex. I love seeing that.
Oh yeah, deadlifts. That's my specialty.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. Feats of strength. And it takes that core, if you will, to produce such strength.
Yeah.
Now you've mentioned Cesaro a little while ago. You do. Now that it's a little Cesaro vibe just by the way you look, my friend. I have to say, just you relax, you're kicked back at your wherever you reside, and wow, definitely some Cesaro vibes. Definitely.
I've
Didn't,
been
didn't
told
think
that.
of it.
I normally have a more full-grown beard. I had to trim it for some personal reasons, but
Oh,
yeah, for the most part, I can see where you're getting that from for sure.
uh, now, are you active on the social medias? Because not all wrestlers engage on the social media. Still have them, but they don't do much with them.
Yeah, you absolutely have to. I have social medias on all sorts of platforms. For example, Twitter. I am a strong McArthur. Arthur McArthur was taken by that musical. Yes. Instagram. I'm Arthur 2_ McArthur, and I do have a Facebook profile, Arthur McArthur. Of course, I have a page, but I don't really update that. It doesn't get enough clicks, and I have to spend money to get boosts. I'm not doing all that.
I got yes, yeah. Same here. We can generate some networking without having to give Zuckerberg an extra $5 for a boost, huh?
Yeah.
I'm with you, my friend. I'm definitely with you.
Mhm.
Uh, so, uh, you don't travel much out of that area. I mean, obviously, you wrestle in Indiana quite a bit, but you stay in that realm, if you will.
So as of right now, with the way the world is, it's kind of that way. So I'll wrestle primarily in Ohio, Indiana. I'll dabble in Pennsylvania, the Pittsburgh area to be exact, whenever it's available. It's a little weird over there right now. I'm scheduled to be in Tennessee,
Oh,
beginning of March. Just wait till you get that announcement.
okay. Uh,
Yes.
could you speak of some of the promotions that you're working for? Because we, the fans, love to learn about new promotions. If you could, maybe give us the call letters if there are some, and what it's named.
Well, first and foremost, my home base, Absolute Intense Wrestling, AIW, based in Cleveland, Ohio. Some great moments, great memories there. Haven't really found my foothold there just yet, but
Okay.
based off of some private things that have been taking place, I think you'll be starting to see more of Arthur there.
Hmm.
Um, I've been wrestling a lot recently for the recently upstarted Flop House, like you had mentioned.
Mhm.
Dabbled a little bit in Michigan. I don't know the Horror Slam. I'm a tag team champion there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's the promotion up there in Michigan. This upcoming Saturday, I'm coming back to Wrestling Theology Fellowship, which is also out in Indiana. You
I,
may
I,
really, yeah.
yeah, I started following them because of your page. Saw the promos that they've been putting out, seeing the event that's coming up. Now that place looks like a lot of fun, my friend.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. I wrestled my first match there a couple months ago in a triple threat. Good friend of mine, Mikey Montgomery, and you might know him over there. He wrestles for H2O sometimes. Bruce Gray.
Not offhand. I'm sorry.
He's okay. Well, he's part of DD Trash, if that helps
Okay.
with Ron
Uh,
Math. Yes. Wrestling Theology is a fun little promotion over there. I'm looking forward to the match with Sam Beal for sure.
mhm. uh, how do you prep for your matches? You're behind the curtain. Do you kind of wait? Most wrestlers say when they hear that music, there's a little light switch that goes off. Are you doing any kind of prep before you get to that curtain, the gorilla area, if you will?
Well, I'll just, try to loosen up a little bit, calm my nerves, of course. I have my dumbbell. I might shake it around for a minute, get the pump going.
Mm-hmm.
As my music starts to hit, I'll start to bounce around a little bit, get in the mode. Nothing too out of the ordinary, but yes, you are right. That light switch really does hit for a lot of us.
Uh, it's the same thing when we have a crappy day at work or whatever, and you want to get away from stuff, and we go to a wrestling event to get away from the bull crap, if you will. Personally, once I get to that venue and I get out of my car, I'm walking in the parking lot, walking to that door, my friend, everything just like fades away around me, and it's wrestling just kind of, I'm here to have fun. And
Absolutely.
everything. Yeah. Do you find that you use it as maybe a therapy, if you will, like the fans do? Because we definitely do that.
Absolutely. I feel like wrestling is an escape for everyone. You know, not everything in Arthur's life is so great sometimes, but when I get to the show, whether I'm wrestling or just supporting my friends, I feel like I'm home, and I feel like I can have fun and kick back and just make everyone happy. And especially for fans, they get away from all the problems in life, whether it be politics, family, whatever, and it all goes away. It's a magical thing, really.
It is uncanny how everything just poofs while you walk through those doors. I don't know what it is, but I love it, and that's a big part of why I love wrestling.
Right.
Growing up as a wrestling fan, was it as a child? Is it something you found a little bit later? Take us through that.
Yeah, definitely started as a child, definitely appreciated everything. I appreciated guys like Stone Cold Steve Austin leading the way. I really do appreciate Mick Foley. I feel like he doesn't get enough credit for what he's done for the business.
Mm.
I really appreciate. I grew up in the Attitude Era, throughout my many eras of life, but the Attitude Era I remember fondly the most. I know people say it's a little dated now, and I can understand why, but it still holds a special place in Arthur's heart.
Mm. May I ask how old you are? Am I crossing boundaries there?
Well, that's a great question. Yeah, I'm quite old. I've been around for a while. I'm kind of timeless, I kind of just, yeah, I've been around for a lot of world events. If you look at my Twitter, it'll tell you where I've been. You might even see my birth date.
Oh, ooh. I'll have to go stalk your Twitter.
Yes.
I mean, follow your Twitter. I apologize.
No, that's okay. Yeah, because old wrestling, it just didn't do it for me. The Frank Gotches of the world. Come on now. Appreciate what they done.
Are you watching the current product still as a wrestling fan? Because there's so much wrestling to choose from nowadays. Very flourishing the scene right now. Are you watching any of the current stuff that's on TV?
If I'm being honest, I usually just watch the pay-per-views. When it comes to television, I feel like it's not all that we should be, what's the word I'm looking for? Really inspiring to do. There's a certain purpose for those television matches. And, they can be short, like 3 minutes, 4, and they have very specific storylines. And that's just not what, we really want to strive for as independent professional wrestlers. But I do still watch when I get a chance, though. But pay-per-views, I think that's where the money is.
Specifically WWE, that you're watching?
Mostly, yes. I'll, of course, watch AEW when I have a chance. I'm very busy in my real life, so it's very hard to really keep up with everything, but I do try to glance as much as I can.
Yeah, because again, there is so much wrestling out there right now. Now, AEW has brought something to the table a little ways back, calling it AEW Dark, to where they bring in independent talent from all over the place, and they put it on the YouTube on Tuesday evenings at 7 o'clock. Tonight, I'm definitely watching because there's there's two specific guys that I'm definitely going to be paying attention to: Steven Stetson and JD Drake.
Oh yes.
On my area, I love me some Steven Stetson. He's gone through an evolution of character. He was something else, and now he's changed to Steven Stetson. And tonight, I'm looking forward to very much. But my point being is, Have you followed any of this? Because there's so much talent that are coming in, and us fans are just like popping left and right, if you will, at all of the independent. Uh, did he poof?
Oh,
Arthur
I mean,
McArthur? Oh, there he is. Okay. Uh, are you seeing some of this talent because they're coming from all over?
oh yes. I've been seeing a lot of it lately. I've seen a couple of my friends actually make it to AEW Dark, and I'm very pleased to see that. Obviously JD Drake, I believe he's been very undervalued. Very one of the best overlooked wrestlers on the independent scene right now. Very happy for this opportunity versus him and Eddie Kingston, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen recently the Bear Country had getting more repetitions in AEW. Bear Country's great, of course.
Yes. Love some Bear Country. I had a Bear Boulder on the show. That was a fine treat. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, some wrestlers are comfortable being on the independent scene. And yeah, they may want to stride for the WWE, but again, they have busy lives, they may have families, and it's something that really isn't in their complete sights.
Right.
Is the bigger platform in Arthur MacArthur's sights?
I think I'm just gonna take it step by step. I feel like some people are just so ready to sign a contract, but they don't. They forget the little things that matter. Trying to get there, honing your craft. It takes a while for some people to make it. Unfortunately, guys like Kevin Owens, it took him 12, 13 years to even be noticed by WWE. Look at Eddie Kingston. He's been wrestling for about 18 years until he finally signs a contract with AEW. Some people just get more luckier than others. I've seen people not even wrestling before sign a contract to train at the PC. All in all, it's just about what they want at the time. And you can be the greatest wrestler around, but if they don't need someone like you, it's not meant to be for the time being. It's not usually a personal thing, of course. But yes, down the road, I would absolutely love to be on a bigger platform such as WWE, AEW, or whatever. But I'm taking it slow. I'm enjoying the ride, getting better at my craft. So that way I show up to the tryout and I'm not some out of shape, whatever you call it. And I can impress guys like William Regal, for example.
Mm. Yeah, well put. Being absolutely ready. You don't want to half-ass this stuff. If you're going to go in something like this, you want to be absolutely ready.
As the famous line from old Triple H once said, "You either want this shit or you don't. And if you don't, don't waste our effing time."
Yes, drag your hiney, please. I definitely with you there. Well put, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you see your character continuing like this, or your persona, if you will? Do you see anything changing? Because some people have goals set to where they might change evolve their character. Is this something that's going to continue, Arthur MacArthur?
I tell you what, nothing is set in stone in this life. I'm happy where I am right now, but I wouldn't say that this could be forever. I've seen a lot of guys who had great characters, but they had to evolve. No one wants to see the same thing 10 years in a row. Sometimes you just have to mix it up a little bit. Guys like Chris Jericho, for example, probably the greatest at changing his character many, many, many times over. So many ideas. I mean, I'm always coming up with new ideas myself. Maybe I'll modernize it up a little bit. We'll never know. Maybe I'll change my accent. We'll never know.
Uh, we look forward to seeing what Arthur MacArthur brings to the table in the future.
Absolutely.
Mr. MacArthur, I know you're very busy. We've been running about 35 minutes or so. So I figured we could bring this to a tail end, I'm assuming, because you've got things to do.
Yes, I'm actually about to go train at the academy here.
Oh, let us not stop you, sir. Please. Yeah, we want you to train. Yeah. I know we kind of talked about your social media platforms, but please reiterate where we can find you because we want the fans to join in and follow Mr. Arthur MacArthur.
Gotcha. So that's on Twitter, Strong McArthur. On Instagram, Arthur 2 _ McArthur. And on Facebook, you can look my profile up, Arthur McArthur, or you can like the page. I don't really post much on there, but every like increases my ego, I guess. So go ahead and do that.
Get on the old face page in the medias. Boost his ego a little bit.
Hey,
I know we've talked about many a topic, and I know we haven't talked probably about many other a topic. Maybe in the future we can get together again, my friend. Would that be okay?
that'd be great. I feel bad for having to rush things, but it was just the way it goes.
That's quite all right. We appreciate your time. Before we let you go, though, is there anything that you would like to speak to about to the fans, to your peers, or just a message in general before we leave?
Oh, sure. Why not? Guys, I think you're very based in New England. I assume all your listeners and fans. This might be your first time learning about me. I'm not really dressed up right now, but I can assure you that someone like me is very unique. I would absolutely love to wrestle good old Theodore Liftington someday, somehow. Yes. We'll make it happen sometime when the world allows for, the proper compensation of traveling, because that's a very long drive, guys.
It is.
But don't worry, we will make it happen sometime. And the promotions I mentioned before, go on IWTV, check them out. You don't have to watch for me. Watch, support independent wrestling. We need you more than ever right now. And we appreciate it. Absolutely. That's all I've got for today. I'm the strongest man in all the land.
Wow.
See you all.
Wow, what a fine message from Mr. Arthur McArthur. This has been Stirring the Pot with Don Kincaid and my very special guest, Arthur McArthur. Thank you, my friend.
Yes, sir.